Y'all should have learned with Puff. Y'all should have learned with Hove. Y'all dealing with a different kind of animal here.
The three of us just looked at Clive like, if you have us arrested, we are gonna F you up for real.
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Kanye West never holds back, and this time he's calling out Clive Davis, a name with more dark secrets than anyone could imagine.
Take that middleman out. They ain't giving us money, they're giving us acknowledgement.
But Kanye's not alone. TLC's Chili is breaking down, sharing gut-wrenching details about what really happened to Lisa Left Eye Lopes.
It's always gonna be a sore spot for us because that was our sister.
Did Clive Davis have a hand in Left Eye's tragic death? And why is Kanye saying Clive is even worse than Diddy? And if Chili's words aren't enough, why did TLC pull a gun on Clive Davis? What did he do to terrorize the most iconic girl group of the 90s?
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Kanye West might have just dropped a bombshell on us. Word on the street is that Clive Davis, the music industry bigwig, might be the puppet master behind Diddy's villainous behavior. It's rumored that Davis schooled Diddy on the art of manipulation, how to use people, exploit them for their talents and bodies, and then toss them aside once they've served their purpose or stop making bank. If these whispers hold any truth, then Clive Davis could be even more twisted than Diddy himself. Considering the laundry list of accusations against Diddy, that's saying something. Let's start with the long-standing conspiracy swirling around Whitney Houston's tragic passing. Kanye recently spoke about how Hollywood elites often stage a celebrity death to make it look like they unalive themselves.
You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that.
Fans are now saying that this is exactly what happened to Whitney. In Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Just hours after Whitney was discovered in her hotel room bathtub, her longtime mentor Clive Davis held a pre-Grammy party in the same hotel, and he allegedly knew that Whitney's body was still in the building. It's been 11 years since Whitney Houston, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, singers of all time, passed away. And Whitney's fans are still hoping the real truth of her death will come out one day. There are so many different conspiracy theories about Whitney's final days, but the most popular one involves Whitney's mentor and record producer Clive Davis, after Kanye West recently exposed the dark side of the music industry and claimed that Hollywood executives had built a system to traumatize and monetize celebs. Whitney Houston's fans reignited the conversation about Clive Davis's infamous 2012 pre-Grammy party. Most of them are even saying that Clive was somehow involved in Whitney's death. Kanye's allegations have set the internet ablaze, and it didn't take long before TLC's Chili came forward, confirming suspicions that Left Eye's death was far from an accident.
Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
Lisa Left Eye's life took a tragically unexpected turn on April 25, 2002, when she met her untimely demise in a car accident in Honduras at the tender age of 30. However, her presence in Honduras was no mere coincidence, as it was revealed in a juicy tidbit by People in 2002 that Lisa was drawn to engage in mission work in the aftermath of Hurricane Mitch, which had ravaged the country in 1998. Evidently, beyond her professional success, Lisa was a philanthropist at heart, drawn to engage in mission work and make a difference in the lives of those less fortunate. Lisa embarked on a 30-day spiritual retreat in Honduras, joined by some close friends. This remarkable journey was not only a personal quest, but also a documented one, with Lisa meticulously capturing her experiences on a handheld camera. The footage would later find its way into the 2007 VH1 documentary titled Last Days of Left Eye. Yet, beneath the surface of this spiritual sojourn, an eerie aura of mystery shrouded the events leading up to her tragic demise. Merely days before the accident, tragedy had struck in a heart-wrenching incident. The vehicle in which Lisa was a passenger, driven by her assistant Stephanie Patterson, accidentally collided with a young boy named Baron Isaul Fuentes Lopez as he stepped onto the road. According to reports from People, Lisa's attorney in Honduras had asserted at the time that this tragic incident had not been reported to the police. Instead, Lisa personally shouldered the immense burden, paying more than $3,000 for the boys' medical bills and funeral expenses. Philadelphia Weekly added to the intrigue by noting that Lisa had cradled the injured boy's head while others attempted to resuscitate him with mouth-to-mouth, albeit without success. They assumed responsibility, the lawyer had stated, shedding light on the decision not to involve law enforcement. The family did not want to give Stephanie a hassle, they explained. In the documentary Last Days of Left Eye, Lisa recounted how an eerie feeling had begun to envelop her, almost as if a spirit were haunting her. She couldn't help but notice the unsettling coincidence that her last name was eerily similar to that of a young boy who had met with a similarly tragic accident.
Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
Little did she know that her own life was hurtling toward an unthinkable tragedy. The final chapter of Lisa Lopez's life unfolded in the town of La Ceiba, Honduras, where she was at the wheel of an SUV. In a heart-stopping moment, she swerved to evade an oncoming car, but in doing so, lost control of her vehicle. The SUV careened off the road, colliding with two unforgiving trees and somersaulting several times before coming to an abrupt halt in a ditch. The aftermath was a scene of heartbreak and chaos. Tragically, Lisa was one of 3 passengers ejected from the vehicle, succumbing to blunt force trauma to the head upon impact. While the other occupants of the SUV endured injuries, Lisa Lopes was the sole casualty of the harrowing crash, leaving a void in the world of music and a host of unanswered questions in her wake. In case you don't remember, Lisa Nicole Lopes, or Left Eye for some of us, was a force of nature in the music industry, with a career that spanned several decades and left a mark on the world of hip-hop and R&B. Born on May 27, 1971 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lisa's journey to stardom was a testament to her unwavering determination and exceptional talent.
Hi everybody, hello Philadelphia, how are you doing?
From a young age, Lisa was surrounded by music. Her parents' love for gospel and R&B music provided the soundtrack to her childhood. By the age of 5, she was already showcasing her extraordinary vocal talents in church choirs, a clear sign of the musical powerhouse she would become. In her young adult years, Lisa relocated to Atlanta, a city known for its thriving music scene. Atlanta had already produced many top-name acts, but it was Lisa and her 2 talented bandmates, Tion T-Boz Watkins and Rosanda Chili Thomas, who would put Atlanta on the map in a way no one could have predicted. Their journey began as a trio called Second Nature, with Watkins and Lopes at the helm. Soon, they were joined by Thomas to form the iconic group TLC, a name derived from the first initial of each member's nickname. Their path to stardom was set in motion when they were discovered at an Atlanta club by none other than the singer Pebbles, who wasted no time in signing them to her label. Under Pebbles' guidance and the wings of Arista's LaFace label, managed by superstar producers Kenneth Babyface Edmonds and L.A. Reid, Pebbles' former husband, TLC, skyrocketed to fame. Their creative style and flamboyance set them apart, and they made a bold statement by wearing condoms on their colorful, baggy clothes. Their 1992 debut album, Ooh on the TLC Tip, produced 3 major hits that left a mark on the music industry. However, as is often the case in the entertainment industry, not everything was smooth sailing for Left Eye. She was never one to shy away from exposing injustices, and she made no exception when it came to her dealings with elites in the music business. One of the most notorious incidents involving TLC's financial disputes with executive producer Clive Davis was exposed by T-Boz in 2009 during an interview with Monique.
TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader. Like, we need to go get our money.
She went on to reveal that at the time, TLC felt so threatened by Clive Davis that they actually pulled a gun on him.
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
However, after the incident with Clive, Lisa decided to split from her girl band and go solo. She signed with Suge Knight's Death Row in January of 2002 and put out her second solo album titled Nina, New Identity Not Applicable, under Death Row Records. What's more, Suge Knight claimed that he was intimate with Lopes after she signed with Death Row in the Lifetime documentary series titled Hopelessly in Love, which details a love affair between Suge and Left Eye. Knight said, "I had major love for her, I cared for her, but I knew her fiancé Andre Rison. We were cool, but I cared about Lisa. She went to one of my high rises one time. She gave me a hug, and I sat back down in my chair and fired up a cigar. The doorbell rings, so I get up and open up the door, and they got the carts. It's all her clothes and suitcases. And she never went home. She showed up and never rolled out," Suge claims. "We started hanging, and she's a great person." Many fans now suspect that Clive Davis and Diddy Combs were not pleased by Lisa's decision to join Death Row Records, which was basically their competitor. In fact, some fans even go as far as to claim that these music moguls allegedly did something to silence Lisa and stop her from building a career with Death Row. One fan commented on this saying, "Left Eye was taken out, whether people believe it or not. The industry slaves know it." In any case, throughout her career, Lisa Lopes never shied away from exposing the injustices and exploitation that often plagued artists in the entertainment world, particularly how elites such as Clive and Diddy allegedly used to harass artists. You see, despite TLC's success, Lisa and her fellow girl band members still faced so many challenges. With an impressive collection of awards, including 4 Grammy Awards, 5 MTV Video Music Awards, and 5 Soul Train Music Awards, they had carved their names deep into the annals of R&B history. However, beneath the glitz and glamour of their fame lay a shocking financial scandal that left them filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on July 3, 1995, with an astonishing debt of $3.5 million. At the time of their financial crisis, TLC had just released their critically acclaimed album, Crazy Sexy Cool, less than a year earlier. This record was a game changer for the group. Featuring timeless hits like Waterfalls and Creep, it was met with both critical acclaim and immense commercial success, dominating the charts for over 2 years and peaking at number 3 on the Billboard 200. The album's impact was not confined to the United States alone. In Australia, it climbed to the 5th spot on the area charts and received double platinum certification, ultimately selling a staggering 14 million copies worldwide. Crazy Sexy Cool achieved a remarkable feat by becoming the best-selling album by an American female group. In a truly unprecedented move, it also remains the only album by a female group to receive a diamond certification from the Recording Industry Association of America, with 11 platinum certifications in the USA alone. Yet, despite amassing an estimated $175 million in earnings, the bombshell revelation came from Chilli herself at the 1996 Grammys, just moments after the group had won 2 prestigious awards.
We have worked very hard. We have been in this business for 5 years. And we are broke as broke can be.
It was a jaw-dropping statement that sent shockwaves through the music industry and left fans and critics alike scratching their heads. How could a group of their caliber, who had achieved unparalleled success, find themselves teetering on the brink of financial ruin?
Trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
TLC's financial troubles weren't just your typical case of an artist mismanaging their money. No, this went deeper, much deeper. It was a calculated move by some of the biggest players in the music industry to siphon off every last cent from TLC, while they were left with barely anything to show for their hard work. To really understand how bad things got, you have to start with the contracts. TLC's deals were a complete mess, and their manager, Perry Pebbles Reed, along with Layface Records and Arista Records, had a huge part to play in this. Both LaFace and Arista were run by Clive Davis, one of the most powerful music executives at the time. And while it's normal for labels to take back their investments, like the cost of recording, marketing, and distributing albums, the way TLC was treated went beyond just getting the label's money back. This was exploitation at its finest. Let's break it down. Crazy Sexy Cool was a massive success, right? You'd think that would have set the group up for life. But nope, just the opposite happened. The more albums they sold, the more in debt they became. LaFace, Arista, and Pebitone piled on expenses that included everything from flights and hotel stays to food and wardrobe costs. They even billed the group for those neon-filled, over-the-top music videos that became iconic in the 90s. The problem was that every dollar TLC made was basically going right back to the labels and their management.
That means every time an album gets sold, TLC gets 56 cents. So 10 million records, $5.6 million. Seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money when the record company has spent $3 million to record your album.
And it wasn't just the big stuff that drained their bank accounts. It was every little thing. They were getting billed for clothes, meals, and travel expenses, but the big hit came with promotional costs and touring. These expenses skyrocketed as Crazy Sexy Cool became more popular. Every interview, every appearance, every tour date, they were all tacking on more costs that TLC had to pay for out of their already tiny slice of the pie. How small was that slice, you ask? Well, get this. Under their original contract, TLC only made 56 cents for every album they sold. And even that small amount had to be divided 3 ways. For a group that sold over 11 million copies of Crazy Sexy Cool, this was criminal. They were making next to nothing from their biggest success, and when you factor in all the costs they were covering, it's no wonder they ended up broke. Now, here's where things get even more ridiculous. Despite being at the top of the charts and selling out arenas, TLC was bringing home less than $50,000 a year, each. Can you imagine? These women were global superstars, and yet they were struggling to make ends meet. Their financial situation got so bad that they were forced to file for bankruptcy in 1995, just a year after Crazy Sexy Cool was released. The public was shocked. How could a group with so much success be so broke? That's when the truth started coming out. TLC wasn't mismanaging their money. They were being robbed, plain and simple. And who was responsible? Pebbles, LaFace, and Arista Records. The trio found themselves in a web of exploitative contracts, and they knew they had to fight back. TLC took their fight public, suing Pebbles and the labels to get out from under their suffocating contracts. It was a long and ugly battle, but after 2 years, they finally won. They managed to break free from Pebbles' control and renegotiated a better deal with LaFace Records. But even after securing a more favorable contract, the damage had already been done. The emotional and financial toll was enormous, and it left lasting scars on the group. Now, while all this was happening, Lisa Left Eye Lopes had her own set of personal challenges. She wasn't just dealing with the band's financial struggles, she was battling demons in her personal life too. Lisa's relationship with NFL player Andre Riessen was one of the most talked about in the 90s, but not for good reasons. Their love story was as chaotic as it gets, and it all came to a head in 1994 when things went too far. One night, after a drunken fight with Andre, Lisa set fire to his mansion. Yeah, you heard that right. She burned his house to the ground in a fit of rage. The media went wild with the story, and for a while it seemed like Lisa's fiery personality was going to overshadow everything she'd accomplished with TLC. The consequences were serious. Lisa ended up on probation for 5 years and was required to enter alcohol rehab. On top of that, Andre's insurance company sued her for $1.3 million to cover the damages from the fire. It was a lot for anyone to deal with, let alone someone in the public eye, and yet Lisa kept pushing forward, both personally and professionally. Despite all the drama, Lisa was still one of the creative forces behind TLC. She wrote many of their hits, and her lyrics often addressed real-world issues like self-respect, independence, and empowerment, especially for women of color. Songs like No Scrubs and Unpretty became anthems for young women everywhere, and Lisa's words played a big part in that. She was fierce and unapologetic, both in her music and in her life. But as strong as she was, Lisa's personal life was always filled with ups and downs. Her relationships were rocky, and she struggled to find stability. Despite the challenges, though, she never stopped being true to herself. That's what made her so special. She was real, flaws and all. Unfortunately, tragedy struck in 2002 when Lisa died in a car accident in Honduras. She was just 30 years old, and her death shocked the world. To this day, there are still questions surrounding the circumstances of her death. Some have speculated that there was more to the story, especially after comments from her bandmate Chili and rapper Kanye West. They hinted that Lisa's accident may not have been as straightforward as it seemed, leaving fans wondering if there was a deeper, darker truth behind her passing. But regardless of the speculation, one thing is clear. Lisa Left Eye Lopes left an incredible legacy. She was a trailblazer, a creative genius, and a voice for women who weren't afraid to stand up for themselves. Her impact on music and culture is undeniable, and even after her death, she continues to inspire. As we piece together the clues from Kanye and Chilli, it's hard to ignore the glaring questions surrounding Left Eye's death. Was it truly just an accident, or was it something more sinister? Chilli's emotional confessions, combined with Kanye's bold accusations, paint a picture of a powerful figure who would stop at nothing to keep his secrets hidden. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.